Zach is back. It's the Zach Gelb Show on Fox Sports 920 The Jersey.
Welcome back on this Tuesday, July 5th. Zach Gelb Show, Fox Sports 920 The Jersey. Our Twitter question today, after switching teams, do you like Kevin Durant? Right now, the early results, 33% yes, 67% no, following the big news yesterday that Kevin Durant is joining the Golden State Warriors on a 2-year, $54.3 million deal. And now joining us on the hotline to get you all caught up with the Knicks and Sixers free agency moves and also talk a little Kevin Durant is Peter Vecsey, who joins us right now. Peter, thanks for a few minutes, and how are you?
I'm good, Zach. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing great, and I appreciate you giving us a few minutes. So when you were enjoying your July 4th yesterday and you saw the news that Kevin Durant is going to be joining Clay, Steph, and Draymond in Golden State, what was your initial reaction?
Not all that surprised. I've been hearing for quite a while that Draymond Green has been in his ear for the whole season, and that's the way it's done these days. The players recruit other players because that's legal, whereas teams aren't allowed to. But I'm not a hater on that. I don't know how you can dislike Durant for making a move that he's allowed to move. Free agency is free agency, and when players got that in every sport, the sport's changed, and this is another huge example of who is running things in sports. Most sports, it's the players, not the owners.
When the calendar switched from June 30th to July 1st and free agency commenced, do you believe there was a legitimate shot that KD could have returned to Oklahoma City, or do you believe that at the end of the day he had his mind set out on trying to go get that championship with Golden State?
Again, I'd heard for quite a while during the season that the Warriors thought they had a real strong chance of getting him. So it is about winning, and he was able to go where he wanted to go, and I'm all for it. Look, the players have taken over. They can choose where they want to go, and the owners are basically find them irresistible. The top players and even the mediocre players are getting huge amounts of money. So. I don't know what to say other than that. LeBron went where he went twice, and Durant's going where he wants, and so it just continues to go on. And the players are calling all the shots.
And like I said at the time when LeBron left, you may not like it, and I'll say it again when KD left as well, but hey, that's their right, and you're exactly right. They can leave to go to any team they want. And you take a look now, the competitive balance of the NBA, and it wasn't great last year, and now it doesn't get any better because Oklahoma City will probably not be good next year after they lose a player like a Kevin Durant. How about the competitive balance of the league now? How many teams do you believe can legitimately compete and maybe not allow Golden State to win that championship?
Well, look, the Warriors are certainly the favorites. They might have been, the co-favorites with Cleveland without Durant. I don't know how many teams can win it. There are a lot of teams that are rebuilding and rebuilding well. If they stay healthy, you wanted to talk some Knicks. If the Knicks happen to stay healthy with the kind of talent that they're bringing in, they're an instant playoff team. Can they win it all? No, I doubt it. But, hey, there's always next year when LeBron is probably free again, and he might be coming to the Knicks, so we have that to think about. Or Westbrook coming to the Knicks, or, whatever. I don't know how many teams. I think people were surprised at some point that Oklahoma City got as far as it did this year. Everyone was saying it was going to be the Spurs versus the Warriors. And so Oklahoma City upset Spurs and, basically had the Warriors down for the count and then lost. So there'll be teams like that come from nowhere that, they're healthy at the right time, that the chemistry's right at the right time. And there'll be other teams that will fall apart because of injuries and whatever. So way too early to think about who's going to win. I know the line makers certainly have the Warriors as prohibitive favorites. But look, it's all about chemistry. It's talent. Talent's very, very important. But if you don't have the right chemistry, you're in trouble. And just because they put Kevin Durant on the same floor with three guys who are not only unselfish, but they're smart and they're great shooters, still doesn't mean that they can play together, because Durant is an isolationist. It's his ball. He's a lot like Carmelo. If Durant were playing in New York, the Madison Square Garden fans would be screaming at him for holding the ball too much, and that got him in a lot of trouble with Oklahoma, even in the semifinals. He's holding the ball, and that turns into bad shots. So he's going to have to revise his game, and the Warriors are going to have to not revise their game, but they're going to have to incorporate him into their game, which means fewer shots and different shots, and then you've got guys that Durant's not a great defensive player, and he's turnover prone. You put him now again with Draymond Green and Curry, who are also turnover prone. I mean, there's so much to be worked out. I see now that the league has changed. Probably almost every team's roster has changed 50%. And so now we're going to spend 50% of next year saying, well, we got to wait, let these guys fit together. You got to give them time. So everybody will have an excuse next year for at least half the season.
It's funnier that earlier that you mentioned that you could possibly see a guy like a Russell Westbrook going to New York, because when I was driving in this morning and also over the weekend, I was saying that to a few friends of mine as we were enjoying the 4th of July, that, hey, if KD was to leave, I could see Westbrook possibly ending up in a situation with the Knicks in New York with Phil Jackson, Carmelo, and Porzingis. And now that's a difficult decision that you have for Sam Presti, because you look at Russell Westbrook, do you trade him or do you keep him for another year? Most likely knowing that, hey, he's not going to stick around after this year.
Well, I think you really, he's got to be honest with the organization. He doesn't have to be, but you would hope he'd be honest with them and tell them. It's like Kevin Love when he was in Minnesota. He told them, I'm not coming back. He told Flip Saunders. And so you better do something. So they spent a half a season trying to do something, and then finally did. But if Westbrook is honest with them and says, no, you better find a home for me, well, that home has got to come this year. You can't wait. And then which teams will be ready to take the chance that he'll live up to his word and re-sign with them after, because he's not going to come and re-sign with you or extend with you. The money's going to be humongous next summer also. And so I was even thinking, before Durant made his decision, I was thinking that if I were the Knicks before they got Rose, I would have reached out for Westbrook, tried to trade for Westbrook. I thought he would have been, I think he'd be perfect in New York. But now, they have Rose, and I'm a huge Jalen. I'm a huge Derrick Rose fan, and I really believe that he is going to be healthy. He was pretty damn good last year, and I see him coming back as an all-star. Now, is he the same player? Will he drive as much? No. But he's not a great three-point shooter, and they need that to open the floor up. But I just think his kind of energy and all the other things that he does, I'm a big fan. So Westbrook really doesn't fit anymore now after the season. Look, he's probably will be somewhere else, and will that team let him go? They're not going to trade for him unless they have a deal in place verbally, I would think. So, still a lot to happen.
We're talking to Peter Vecsey, who joins us right now on the Zach Gelb Show. So let's continue the conversation with the Knicks. You're a fan of Derrick Rose. They also add Jennings and Lee and Noah as well. Do you generally like, with all those other moves, what the Knicks have done this offseason? It seems like they're getting closer to returning to the playoffs.
Well, everybody's chant now is if this guy's healthy, if that guy's healthy, it wasn't so long ago, a couple weeks when there was no if with the Knicks. There was none of that. They were terrible. They had no players other than Carmelo, and a lot of people down on him, and Porzingis. So now at least you have if. I personally would not have signed Noah. Again, I'm a huge fan of his. I love the way his passion for the game and the way he defends and all that stuff. But last year, hurt again when he wasn't hurt, but probably was hurting anyway. I didn't think he could jump that well anymore. And I saw that he stopped. He lost his confidence to shoot. Just pass up easy shots. Wasn't even looking. Too many things there. And he's a little older, and I wouldn't have taken him. I just would not have taken that chance. I would have gone after Pau Gasol. Phil Jackson's got a great relationship with him. Now he's gone to the Spurs. Perfect for the Spurs. It would have been perfect for the Knicks. He had an all-star year last year, and he was basically cruising, too, because that team was so messed up, and you just knew they were going nowhere. And so Powell would have been a great addition. Lee, I've seen a lot of him. I liked him early in his career in Orlando. The Nets wound up with him, gave up Ryan Anderson for him, for crying out loud. I was like, whoa! But that was to get rid of Vince Carter's contract, as I remember. But I didn't like that. And then they didn't keep him long, and so he's been around a lot. He's been traded a lot, moved around a lot. So that tells me a lot. So I'm not big on that. I'm not big on overpaying a guy like that. There are so many fringe starters that have moved around the league. Bayless, to name one. So many guys that are getting 10, 12 million a year. I understand. I'm not gonna be a guy that's gonna cry about money and stuff. But if you're going to spend it on somebody that's got something, some future or some present that you're really in love with. Lee made one big shot last year in the playoffs, and that might have been it. He plays defense, I'm told. I really can't tell that, but that's what I'm told. And so he's okay, but I think they could have done better. I would have gone after Evan Turner. I'm a big Evan Turner fan. I thought he had a great year with Boston. He also can play the point. Is he a great outside shooter? No, thank God he's not. So he doesn't shoot from out there, and he actually goes into the paint and makes things happen. He's an old school type of guy, very smart. Portland made a great pickup on him. They overpaid him, but whatever. So he's the third guard out in Portland. And but that would have been my guy. I would have gone after Gasol and Evan Turner.
Now, let me ask you one more just going off this as we're talking to Peter Vecsey, and I'll preface it by saying I would not have done this, but do you believe that the Knicks should have brought Dwight Howard to the Mecca?
Absolutely not.
Why is that?
No.
I agree.
I believe that if you're going to bring in players, bring in registered adults. and this guy is just too much of, take the pacifier out of your mouth, Dwight. Please move on. I don't care if he has a great season for Atlanta or whatever. They brought in Dwight Howard, and I understand it. So Horford is not a defensive player, not the rebounder, but he's a pretty good rebounder, but not the rebounder that Howard is, not the shot blocker. But he's a man, and they've won with him. And to switch off on that, let Horford walk and go to Boston. Great pickup by Boston. Probably their best power forward since McHale. And I wouldn't have done that. And now I'm reading that they might. I don't know if it's real. Trading Millsap. They're thinking about trading Millsap, another terrific player. What? They moved Teague already. Why do they think they've done so well over the last few years, last 5-6 years? Maybe those three guys? That might have been three reasons. Are they crazy? Do they really believe that because You're descended from Popovich, and anything you do will be golden. Forget about it. Don't like what they're doing.
Let's get to the Sixers. Last night you saw Ben Simmons, a glimpse of him before he started to cramp in the second half, but it was one that was special. 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. Did a really nice job passing the ball, which we all knew going into the draft, and now you finally got to see it last night in the Summer League. He won't play today at 5 against the Spurs. They're just going to be careful with him with the cramps right now. But what you saw out of Simmons yesterday looked pretty special and promising for a Sixers franchise that's been through a lot of downtimes the last 3 years.
Well, first of all, I'd never seen him play before. You
Wow.
might have been you might have not been surprised by the fact he could pass so well, but I was shocked at how well he could pass and how quickly he passes. He's already thinking before he gets the ball where it's going to go next. So I was hugely impressed with everything he did, except the last play when, he was having some troubles with his calves. But you look at the replay, and you'll notice that he didn't go to the calf until it was a delayed reach for the calf after his shot was blocked by a smaller guy. So I'm saying, whoa, man, don't show me that side of you that you just cramped up because you got your shot blocked. I'll leave you with that.
Okay. Before we let you run, as we're talking to Peter Vecsey, wrapping up with him, you look at what the Sixers did this offseason. Bayless, who's a pretty good three-point shooter, Henderson, and now they bring over Sergio Rodriguez with the addition of a guy like Simmons, and we'll see what they eventually do with the Noel and Okafor. One of those guys will eventually have to be traded, if not this year, next year. Do you believe that Brian Colangelo is moving the Sixers in the right direction finally?
Look, Henderson had a real good year with Portland. Not good enough that they would want to bring him back. Bayless, I told you, he's been bounced around a lot. He was really tight with Kidd. He's from Phoenix. The kid knew him from Phoenix. That's how Colangelo knows him from Phoenix. He's okay. He's okay. Henderson, he's okay. Now you're bringing in guys that had washed out of the NBA to back to the no. I don't really like what they're doing. I mean, I understand you need veterans, but you need a star veteran who is still doing it, that these young guys are going to be able to follow, and he's going to be able to show them how to do it, not only on the court, but how to act off the court. And no, I don't see that person.
Yeah, I can't tell you the name right now, but I would imagine that they do look for a guard next year in the draft, a point guard. You heard all those rumors this year that they tried to move up and get a Chris Dunn from Providence, but that didn't end up working out. So I would imagine that next year in the draft, you look for the Sixers to probably take a point guard, Peter.
Yeah, but again, Chris Dunn is a rookie, and also he's got injury problems. I actually have sources in Providence, but I don't know if you could get Ricky Rubio now. Yeah,
which they looked into.
Bring him in. Yeah, I like that one, but don't tell me next year. We're not even into the summer yet. This is the summer. Like, come on. I mean,
but that's what Hickey did here. Hickey always made you think of next year.
All the cap space that you have, all the assets that you have. Now, he still has big men to trade. Well, he's got to trade one for, like I just said, for that veteran, for that star veteran. He's got to find somebody like that is a leader, and not only by example, but shows people what to do. How to act. Like I hate to mention his name because I can't stand him. But Lambeer, when Lambeer was with the Pistons and Isaiah, and he was the co-leaders of the Bad Boys, anybody that came to that team, they would immediately tell them where it was at. This is the way we do it. On the bus, on the plane, in the locker room. That's what you need. You got to have that. I hope Lambeer lives to be 1,000 and has a toothache every day. But he was a real good co-leader of that team.
Hey, Peter, I appreciate the time today. You've been keeping me entertained on Twitter. I've been following you over the last few weeks, and your one-liners, I love them.
All right. Thank you very much. Good luck on your show. Thank you.